Pulling back versus gentle reach out. Which one actually breaks through an avoidance walls? When it comes to avoidant partners, people fall into two extremes. Either they withdraw completely to protect themselves, or they keep reaching out gently, hoping consistency will crack the armor. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Avoidants don't respond the way you think they will. Their walls weren't built to keep you out. They were built to keep them safe. Distance doesn't always create attraction, and persistence doesn't always create connection. Research from the University of California found that avoidant individuals have a hyperactive threat detection system in their limbic brain. When they sense emotional intensity, their amygdala fires up like they're facing actual danger. This isn't a choice. It's a survival mechanism that formed before they could even speak. And I see this pattern every single day. People pull back thinking it'll wake the avoidant up, or they reach out gently thinking patience will win. But neither works because they're focused on the wrong thing, the avoidance response instead of their own foundation. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which approach fits your situation, why most people fail with both methods, and what actually makes an avoidant feel safe enough to let someone in. Because here's the key. Avoidants move toward you when they feel safe, and away from you when they feel threatened. So the real question isn't which method is better. The real question is which approach makes you feel grounded, while also making the avoidant feel safe enough to lower their guard. Let's start with pulling back. The classic strategy everyone runs to when an avoidant feels distant. It sounds strategic, empowering, mature, like giving them what they claim they want. But here's what most people don't understand. Avoidants do not experience your withdrawal the same way anxious or secure people do. For an anxious or secure person, pulling back creates panic, urgency, fear of losing you. But for an avoidant, pulling back feels like validation, confirmation, proof that their walls were necessary. Their nervous system registers it as, see, everyone leaves eventually. I was right to protect myself. And while you're sitting there thinking they must realize what they're losing, they're often thinking, I knew it wouldn't last. Better to end it now than get hurt later. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology tracked avoidant individuals after relationship separations. What they found was surprising. Avoidants didn't immediately miss their partners. Instead, they experienced what researchers call delayed emotional processing. It took weeks, sometimes months, for the loss to truly register. During the initial separation, their stress hormones actually decreased. They felt relief. But as time passed and they couldn't use a relationship as an emotional buffer anymore, their cortisol levels spiked. That's when the real feelings surfaced. So pulling back can work, but only when you're not using it as a power move. When you genuinely prioritize yourself, reclaim your energy, and stop waiting for them to validate you, that's when an avoidant may start questioning their own walls. But here's the danger. Most people don't do real pulling back. They do strategic pulling back. They distance themselves, but keep one eye on the avoidant. They post cryptic stories. They check if the avoidant viewed their posts. They tell themselves they've moved on while their entire nervous system is still tangled up in whether the avoidant will notice. And because avoidants have high rejection sensitivity, something they developed in childhood when emotional needs were dismissed, they can sense emotional manipulation even through space. This version doesn't work. Real pulling back works only when you're not pretending to move on. You're actually moving on. You're building a life where whether they show up or not becomes secondary to your own peace. Now, let's talk about gentle reach out, a very misunderstood strategy. Gentle reach out isn't chasing. It isn't forcing vulnerability. It isn't constantly trying to fix the avoidant. Gentle reach out is subtle, patient presence without expectation. Think of it as, I see you, but I'm not trying to change you. It can be as simple as acknowledging their feelings without judgment, staying emotionally steady when they pull away, or showing up consistently without demanding reciprocity. The reason this works for many avoidants is because it doesn't trigger their fear of being consumed. It allows connection to exist without making them feel like they're losing themselves. Dr. Amir Levine, who wrote Attached, explains that avoidants experience inconsistent caregiving. Their parents were sometimes available, sometimes not, sometimes warm, sometimes cold. So the avoidant child learned that closeness equals unpredictability. They learned that opening up means getting hurt. Their brain adapted by creating distance as a defense. But here's what's fascinating. Avoidants don't actually want to be alone. They want to be close without the threat of being overwhelmed. Researchers at the University of Illinois studied what they called earned security in avoidant adults. They found that avoidants who shifted toward secure attachment all had one thing in common. They experienced relationships where the other person remained calm and consistent even when the avoidant pushed them away. Not clingy calm, not doormat calm, but grounded, self-respecting calm. The kind that says, I care about you, but I'm not falling apart if you need space. That consistency rewired their nervous system over time. It showed them that closeness doesn't always lead pain. It's like dealing with a cat that's been hurt before. If you chase it, it runs. If you corner it, it scratches. But if you sit in the same room, doing your own thing, not staring, not demanding, just existing peacefully, eventually the cat comes to you. Avoidants operate the same way. They need to feel like connection is their choice, not something being forced on them. But gentle reach out comes with a warning. If you use it as a strategy to break through their walls, it won't work. Avoidants can sense hidden agendas. They've spent their entire lives reading between the lines because direct, emotional communication felt dangerous in childhood. So when you're reaching out gently but internally thinking, maybe this will finally make them open up, they feel that pressure, and that pressure activates their defenses. Gentle reach out only works when you mean it, when you're not desperate, not attached to their response, and not making their healing your mission. So which works better, pulling back or gentle reach out? The answer depends on your situation. If the avoidant is actively pushing you away, building higher walls, or clearly communicating they need space, pulling back is healthier. Distance gives them room to feel safe again. If the avoidant is showing mixed signals, small moments of openness, brief vulnerability, or micro-invitations for connection, gentle reach out is often more effective because it shows them closeness doesn't have to be dangerous. Pulling back works best when a relationship has become too intense or the avoidant feels cornered. Gentle reach out works best when a relationship still has trust that just needs patience to deepen. Pulling back is a boundary. Gentle reach out is a bridge. Here's the most important part. Whichever method you choose, the goal should be the same: to stop breaking yourself open trying to break their walls. Avoidants don't respond to force. They don't respond to emotional pleas. They respond to emotional safety. There's a concept in psychology called differentiation, the ability to stay connected to someone while maintaining your sense of self. Most people lose themselves when dealing with avoidance. They become so focused on getting to the walls that they abandon their own needs, boundaries, and life. And ironically, that's exactly what pushes the avoidant further away. Because when you lose yourself, you become needy. And neediness to an avoidant feels like suffocation. But when you maintain differentiation, when you can care about someone while still living your life fully, that creates a magnetic pull. The avoidant sees someone who isn't trying to complete themselves through the relationship. They see someone who's already whole. And wholeness is deeply attractive to avoidants because it's what they're searching for in themselves. Here's the simplest way to put it. Start with gentle reach out. If the avoidant responds, keep interactions light, calm, authentic, and pressure-free. Let them set the pace. Let the relationship breathe. Don't rush to define things. But if they remain closed, defensive, or completely walled off, move to pulling back. Not to punish them, but because you deserve someone who meets you halfway. Gentle reach out is an open door. Pulling back is self-respect. You offer the door first. If they don't walk through it, you close the door and walk away with your dignity intact. And here's the final truth. Avoidants don't lower their walls for people who try to break them down. They lower their walls for people who are emotionally whole. A study from the University of Minnesota followed avoidant individuals over 10 years. The ones who developed secure attachments didn't do it because someone convinced them to change. They did it because they encountered people who loved them without needing them to be different. That consistency, that lack of pressure, that emotional independence, it slowly rewired their brains. It taught them that maybe, just maybe, letting someone in won't destroy them. At the end of the day, remember this: avoidants don't respond to force. They respond to safety. Whether you choose pulling back or gentle reach out, the real transformation happens when you shift the focus back to yourself. When you stop breaking yourself open and start building yourself up, everything changes, including how they see you. If this video gave you clarity, make sure to subscribe and join this community where we decode psychology, relationships, and human behavior every single day. Check out the videos linked below for more on avoidant attachment. Until then, stay strong, stay centered, and remember, you teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself.